Thank you, moderator. And first of all, I'm very honored and happy to deliver my presentation at the 30th anniversary of the CDU. And thank you, Professor Yan, and thank you for the CDU. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate for the past 30 years, achievements in the 30 years of the CDU. And the topic is a very limited scope for the last 10 years together with my students and on the various kinds of organization on the ice service. In fact, this is also on the liquid phase and also on the solid phase of the water. And prior to this research, and if it is possible for me to speak a little bit about the physics environment in China, and I do apologize because the topic is not so wide, but personally, this is a very good opportunity to review the for the last 2 decades time after coming back to China, the changes probably there might be some help for the young people, and this is part of my topic. So, and speaking about this, I have to start from a city, which is of course the city of Beijing. From any aspect in Beijing for the last 2 decades, on the long-term basis, which is the fastest development in the world in terms of the population and in terms of the city, and it is quite robust regardless of good or bad. This is one of the most active cities, and in the northeast corner of the Beijing city, which is one of the best, 3 best universities and research institutes in China, of the Beijing University, Tsinghua University, and Chinese Academy of Sciences. And of the 3 competitive organizations, they are grouped together. So whether they would like to meet each other, so they always say, I'm much better than you are. But indeed, people helping each other, and this is one of the things, and you have to have a kind of corrective size. And so I often heard that I don't know what they are doing, but at the end of the 90s, going back to the Chinese Academy of Sciences, working for about 10 years in the Department of Physics at that time, at the Institute of Physics. So this is a little bit too far away from you, but going back at the age of 40, it so happened that it was a kind of change of generation. So to a certain period, there was also a kind of loss of the civilization. There wasn't any kind of university or students. At the beginning of the reform, the outstanding students studying overseas in America, many of them, some of them I have already seen also sitting here. So when we talk to go, it's about almost like 20 years. So it's open that I returned to China. So Mr. Yang, he was also about 62. I was also responsible at the Dean for the Institute of Physics. For the research labs, we have between 200 to 300 technicians and research fellows, and with a lot of the postgrads. So we have a few hundred researchers, and if you know about the German system, that the main thing is that to conduct it in the condensed matter physics and plasmas, and also on the unique institute. Time was too short, so I was serving as the director of the institute, and I felt immediately that I was a little bit problematic because it was the lack of the young people. I'm talking about at the 30s and the 40s. So there weren't too many people coming back. And the second point is A lot of the ways that we do things are quite different in terms of the environment, in terms of the things I have to establish. So there was no other solutions because the whole institute is unable to do it. So we thought about maybe we start from something new, and this is the beginning of a story.